Innovation, imagination, wonder. These are just some of the words used to describe Dr. Harvey Passes. Dr. Passes explores interesting people and ideas that will stimulate you. He questions the people who develop, create, and employ novel concepts in business and everyday lives. He especially loves to speak with successful people. How did they do it? How can you do it too? So let's join Dr. Harvey Passes in his quest of wonder and curiosity as we watch Dr. Harvey Passes Presents.
This is going to be a great show on information. Find a comfortable place to sit down, get out some paper, pencil, because you're going to want to take notes on this one. This is going to be great because this is a show that will affect everyone, notably if you are in Nassau County. But if you're not in Nassau County, you're still going to learn a lot, and you will see how it will relate to you in your county. I asked a very prestigious, honorable individual, you like the way I said that? Honorable individual to come down to the show to bring to you information about, that's right, our court system. And this judge is in the position to know. We're talking about Judge Carnell Foskey, and then I'll tell you who he is in 1 second. First, Judge, thanks very much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come down here and to help me inform my viewer on what's going on in your neck of the woods. And your neck of the woods is the family court, the Nassau County Family Court, and you are the supervising judge.
That's correct. I've been supervising judge for about 3 years now.
But you've also been a judge for, what, 10 years?
A total of 17 years here in the county. 17
years. That sounds like a sentence.
Yes, I was younger then, too.
We all could say that. So you're supervising judge.
Correct.
Okay. As I said, our Nassau County Family Court. I'm very interested in learning about what family court does, and the difference between family court, superior court, and all these other kind of courts, so that my viewer can appreciate how the family court can either assist, or if they have to go in there, not in a position of assistant, but on the other side of the coin, what it's all about, etc. What exactly is family court?
The family court is truly the people's court.
What does that mean?
It's the court where most people would come without a lawyer. It's a court where the average common person, your neighbor, your friend, might not normally know, but they would come there looking for some type of relief. It could be an order of protection, it could be custody, it could be child support, it could be a case involving a neglect. Or the family court is guided by the Family Court Act, and that gives us jurisdiction. An order of protection, which involves domestic violence. So it's truly a court that addresses the issues of the common man and the common woman.
Hold it. You said something that really made my ear pop up. You said that this is certainly the people's court, and then you said that you can go there without an attorney.
That's correct.
So you mean to tell me, for argument's sake, that you know, I get this from my patients, various patients at times, and they just don't have the funds for an attorney. If they're seeking an order of protection, they're seeking relief, they're seeking some kind of, quote, justice, that they can go there and they can fill out, obviously, a form.
Yes. Right.
And then they can go in front of the judge on behalf of themselves?
We have a whole area called self-representative area, because we know that the people who come in there have less income than some other people.
Right.
Now, surely there are many people who can afford a lawyer, and if you can afford one, I suggest you get one. But we also want to be there for people who cannot afford a lawyer and offer the necessary services so that they can receive the same type of legal information that they need in order to bring their case before a judge.
So when they go in front of a judge, do they go in front of the judge alone, or does the court appoint them an attorney, or they have a choice?
It depends. Once you're before the judge, if you cannot afford an attorney, you can certainly ask the judge to screen you to see if you can qualify for a court-appointed attorney.
I see. So then people, the first point is that people should know, from what you've just told me, is that there is relief. Don't think because you just don't have the money, you shouldn't seek justice.
That's correct.
For lack of a better word.
In many situations, we even assist you in writing and preparing your petitions. We have people who are qualified to do that. And also you can download the petitions online. Because of the age we live in, some things have gotten a little less difficult, particularly with the court system. And we've gone out of our way to make the court system friendly to what we refer to as the self-represented. We used to call them pro se litigants, just meaning without a lawyer. So we've gone out of our way to make the court more friendly towards those individuals.
Now, you were born and you were raised in New York.
No, South Carolina.
Oh, I thought you were. Oh, so oh.
You can tell a little accent every now and then.
No, you know something. You have, when you speak, I can't tell where you come from. You know, it's kind of like all around. I mean, you should be doing the show instead. You got one of those kind of voices.
I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah. So, okay, so you were born in South Carolina, you
In a
said.
little town called Darlington, yes.
Oh, okay. Then how'd you come up here? Don't tell me by train.
No, actually I did, but that's another story. My mom and dad came to New York early on,
Right.
and that's the way we did it back then. They established themselves. When they became comfortable, brought a home, then they sent for me, and I came. I was raised by my grandparents.
I see.
And then I came to New York. They came looking for a better life
Right.
and more opportunities.
Right.
And once they established themselves, they sent for me.
I see. Okay. So then, tell me about your background. Where did you go to school? Where did you get your college?
I went to
or-
undergrad at right here in New York, State University of New York at Stony Brook.
Okay.
And then I went to California, and I got a JD from the University of California Western School of Law in San Diego. And then I went on and got an LLM, which is an advanced law degree from Boston University in taxation.
Wow. Why don't you stay in San Diego? I mean, come on. San Diego isn't half bad.
Oh, my mom and dad. I
Okay,
miss
I know.
my family, my aunts, uncles.
I'm sure. Boston's lovely too, but I love Long Island.
Yes.
I love Long Island. Okay, so how many years were you a lawyer?
I've been a lawyer since 1981, so 27
Okay,
years.
that's enough. Right. So why did you want to become a judge?
I've always been involved in my community and in politics and just working and being involved, and I felt that it was an opportunity to make a difference in life. And it was a natural extension to what I was doing. I was a deputy county attorney, so I was already working in government at the time, and I also had done other good things in government. So being a lawyer and being a judge seemed like a natural transition at the time.
You speak very well. So you explained at the beginning of the show the duties and the responsibility. I mean, we gave a cursory thing. We're going to get into it over the next 30 minutes. But specifically for you, what are the responsibilities and duties of the supervising judge?
Well, I oversee the filing of about 25,000 cases a year
Whoa.
that we have in the family court every year.
Whoa.
And 8 judges and 168 non-judicial employees. So just making sure the day-to-day operations of the family court, that they run well and the people are treated fairly, and that we do what the people want us to do in the family court, make sure that we're doing our jobs.
So if this was a big law firm, you'd be the managing partner.
In some ways, I would be. I'd be one of the managing partners,
Right.
along with my administrative judge, Judge Morano. Yes.
I see. Okay. Now, what kind of cases? Let's get specific. What kind of cases do you hear in family court?
I actually hear each type case. As a supervising judge, I think it's important that I keep my hands in everything. My specialty are neglect cases, Article 10 cases, but I do hear custody visitation, order protection, because I can't ask people to do things that I don't do myself. So I keep an eye on all type of cases. On any given day, I will hear a number of different cases beyond my specialty.
So you're going to be hearing cases as well as being the manager.
That's
for
correct.
lack of a better way of
That's
describing
correct.
it.
That's correct.
Wow, so you're the boss and you're also one of the workers.
A lot of multitasking.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Right.
It's like in my office, I'm the dentist,
Right.
but I own the business obviously. But then all of a sudden I take my boss hat off, and then I give the management hat over
right.
to my manager.
There's billing. There's all
right,
kinds
right,
of
right.
things.
And now I become just another guy doing
right.
this in the mouth all day.
And it's interesting that you bring that point up. When I became supervising judge, I had no idea that there were certain other duties I have. We have a children's daycare center there, and I'm
Really?
the co-chair of the daycare center. The Law Guarding Advisory Panel, I chair that. So along with that comes other responsibilities that you have, statutory responsibilities that you have as supervising judge.
You're jumping ahead, but I'll take it. What do you mean you have a daycare center there? I mean, people can just bring their kids there, or they have to be related to a court?
They have to have a court case on that day. What was happening is that as I said, many of our litigants, they can't afford. They come because they take a day off from work, and they can't afford a babysitter. Finding one to sit with the child. it's important that while they're in the courtroom, they have no distractions, so they're concentrating on their cases. So we have a daycare center that's located on the first floor of the family court.
Wow,
that
that's
we'll allow
great.
them to take their kids to.
That's great, because I'm sure you're going to get phone calls. I can't come in today.
Exactly. I can't get a sitter.
Right.
I can't afford a sitter.
Yeah. How long has this been going on?
Oh, the daycare center's been there since Judge Joseph, one of my predecessors, over 10 years.
Okay, that's an excellent thing to do.
If you get time, you should come visit one day.
I would like to. That would be interesting. Could we film it?
Only with permission. But the good part about the daycare center, we also provide toys, games. We send them home with a book. And in many situations, they've never had a book before other than school, so we send the child home with a book. We provide certain nutritional services for them. We provide a snack. So given the litigants that we're dealing with, this is definitely a plus for our family court to have that service.
It is. Okay. Can we go through a typical day in family court?
A typical day in family court.
First you get your coffee.
First is a line outside. There's usually a huge line outside, people waiting to get in the building. And remember, some of these people have never been there before, so it can be a very traumatic experience going to the court. And they're in tears, some of them, and there are arguments in the hallway. It's just that it's a very emotional type court. I always tell my friends in the Supreme Court, my colleagues there, they're dealing with dollars and cents. I could be dealing with the next president of the United States, or a person could actually have a cure for AIDS. And that's how I see my job. I could actually make a difference in the life of a child that can really have a long-term effect. Well, it goes beyond winning a case for $50,000, $10,000. It's pointing that child in the right direction.
It's a life.
Right. And that's what goes on in the family court. And that happens sometime before noon. If you drive through the court system, you'll notice the family court, the cars are there from morning to evening. It's the employees. It's just a very hard-working court.
Very interesting. What are the hours of the court?
The court opens to the public at 8:30 and closes at 5. So we let people in at 8:30 through the metal detectors. And the judges usually start between 9 and 9:30.
What services are available to litigants? And first, define litigant, so someone watching this understands what we're talking about.
A litigant would be, we commonly refer to them as a respondent or a petitioner, as a person that somehow needs the intervention of the court to resolve an issue that they may not be able to resolve on their own. But I just want to back up with something that you thought about earlier. You asked me why they want to become a judge. The pre-question to that would be, why did I want to become a lawyer?
Okay.
In second grade, my mom and dad came to me and they gave me a choice. They said, you want to go to law school or you want to go to medical school?
Right.
I picked law school because of I wasn't the sciences. I felt maybe I can get through law school. And since that day, since second grade, that was my goal, to go to law school. I did high school in 3 years. I did college in 3 years because I needed to get to law school.
You need to get to law school.
Get to law school, right.
Good for you. I like hearing that. Good for you. People should learn from this. Okay, so the services that are available, we said earlier that you can petition for yourself. What other services are available?
We have the Coalition Against Domestic Violence. They're in the courthouse to assist the litigants who are the victims, both male and female, of a domestic incident. They counsel them. They give them services. They point out numbers they can call. They have information about safe houses. We also have probation in the building, which provides intake services for our litigants. And we have Department of Social Services, Child Protective Services, that actually have liaisons in the building. So if we see a child that we feel that has been abused, we can make the referral right there in the courtroom. So there are a number of mental health provider we have there, a woman who all she does, we call into the courtroom, she'll screen a case for mental health services, which is a new thing that we're learning now. A lot of our cases have a mental health component that's never been addressed before.
You know, I find that as a dentist, I need that too, but that's for another show.
Stop by the family court one day.
I'll take it. None of these are governmental agencies, though.
No, the probation department and social services, but the other agency, Coalition, is funded through grants and various other funds.
Are there any governmental agencies besides the two that you mentioned?
Probation, social services.
That's it?
The sheriff's department. So there's a number of services.
What is the sheriff's department?
The sheriff's department is in the Nassau County serves a very great function. They actually serve our order protections in Nassau County. So if I issue an order of protection, whether it's a vacate or stay away, do not arrest, the sheriff, that goes down to the sheriff that day, and they actually serve the order, saving the litigant money and time.
I can't help it. You say sheriff, all I can think about is a Western.
There might be one for you at home tonight when you get home. Sure.
I better not be. Better be just a good dinner. That's all I care about. During your tenure as judge, supervising judge, what kind of new programs have been involved that maybe you've instituted?
Well, we've several new programs. First, one of the first things we've done, we've gone to what we call specialized parts. When I first came a judge in the family court, each judge did everything. But we found that that wasn't an effective use of our resources and our outside agency resources. So you had one worker, a probation worker, that had to go to 8 different judges. And you had a Department of Social Services worker had to go to 8 different judges. By having one judge do neglects, one judge do JDs, which are juvenile delinquents, PENs, it allowed us to put our assets and tunnel them to one and channel them one area, as opposed to everyone running around to 8 different places. Another program that I'm very proud of that we've done, we introduced ADR, which is Alternative Dispute Resolution in the court. So if you come in and perhaps you're close to a settlement on a custody and visitation case, we have a mediator that can be present in the courthouse, and we send you to a room and you mediate the case. And that same day, we'll send you back to a judge that can give you an order. So you don't have to take additional time off from work. You don't have to come back 3 or 4 times. And those only work in certain cases. We triage them very carefully and make sure those cases are suitable for mediation. For example, if there's been any prior domestic violence, that case will not go for mediation. But if you have 2 people, reasonable people come together, and maybe they just can't agree on a day, you get this weekend, I get that weekend, and need someone to sit down and talk to them, the feedback that I get from this program is that for the first time, they really felt that someone sat there and listened to them and what the issues were. So it's a program that's working very well, and it helps the court not have to litigate these cases also.
You did say a magic word, though, that in many of these cases, I have to assume, does not fit.
Oh.
You said reasonable.
Yes.
A lot of, when you get to family court, I think very few people are reasonable.
There's a lot of them. You just got to offer them the services and opportunity.
Right, because you're dealing with emotions.
Right.
I mean, you said it earlier. You're not dealing with dollars and cents. You're dealing with families. You're dealing with things that are going on between
And a
people.
perfect example of that, what I did last summer at Hofstra, they gave a mediation course, trained mediators. I took the course myself because, once again, I feel that if I'm going to be sending cases to mediation, I need to know enough about it to explain it to the people, why they're going and what they get out of it. And what I've learned from the mediation course, many times you will have 2 people, for example, hypothetically, they'll say, I want Christmas Day, I want Christmas Day, and I want Easter. And then you find out perhaps their family always celebrate Christmas Eve. But you'll find out there was an underlying reason why they wanted Christmas Day, which had really nothing to do with the day itself, but there were other underlying issues. And so those kind of things, they get to sit down and actually talk over. Why do you want your birthday? Why do you want his birthday? Those kind of things.
So some of these programs that you've enacted during your time as supervising judge, what impact have they had on the general operations of the court in particular?
I think it's made it a less stressful day. There used to be a time that, and we still get very busy days, but there used to be a time that by 4 o'clock in our waiting room area, it would still be very crowded. Now you see a trailing off because of the services that people and the things that we've done. That we put time certains. For example, every case used to be noticed for 9 o'clock. Everyone had to be there at 9 o'clock.
Right.
We stopped doing that. Now we have 11 o'clock, we have 2 o'clock, we have 3 o'clock. So by doing something as simple as that, spreading out what time you have to be there has been a very useful tool and effective tool in cutting down on the stress of the employees and litigants.
So obviously you learned something about making an appointment and going to the dentist. Your appointment's at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
You don't have to sit there at 9
and
o'clock.
I hope it's reciprocal too.
Ain't that the truth? Absolutely. Okay, now, what about the litigants? These systems that you've enacted, these programs, how has the effect been on the litigants?
Well, if you were a litigant and you came to family court and you sat there from 9 to 4 o'clock, your day is pretty much gone. If you're told you to be there 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you can arrange things. You go to work a half day, so it makes it more available for them to get in and out also. And by doing a specialized services also, they're going to certain judges, and they see that judge over and over again. So that judge is familiar with their case also by having specialized parts. So if I assign you Judge ABC, when you come back, that case will always be Judge ABC.
That's good.
Which is what we refer to, which predated me with the individual assignment system. But we adhere to that more carefully now than we have in the past too.
Oh, that's excellent. If you have your continuity, the individual knows.
Exactly.
It's like going to the doctor and you keep getting a different doctor.
Exactly.
Hey, he doesn't know who
Like
you
HMO,
are.
right.
Yeah, that's exactly. No names, please. Okay. Now, what about the effect on non-judicial personnel in the system? What effect have these programs been for them?
Well, I'd like to think they've been good for them. We've created a number of new positions. What I mean by that, we've taken some old positions and reclassified them. Clerks in the courtroom, higher grades, and just we put more assets throughout the court. We created what we call a permanency person who
A what purpose?
Permanency, what she does, a permanency coordinator. We have a number of kids in care. The permanency coordinator keeps track of those children in care, and it's one of our goals, is one of my goals as supervising judge, is to reduce the number of kids that we have in care in our county. It costs the taxpayers money, and plus you want to reunite them with their families. We've created a new court called the Juvenile Treatment Court that assists us with dealing with juveniles. We found a lot of juveniles, the problems they had were drug related. They were acting up for a reason. So by doing those cases at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and bringing them in and not having them go to school, Judge Marks is running that court, which has been a very effective court throughout the state in helping our juveniles in the various counties.
Now, these courts you're talking about, for example, you have the judges taking care of them, but you sit over them as a supervisor, is that it?
Yes, to review them, and every now and then I'll sit as a judge in that part just to find out what's going on and keep myself abreast of it. We also have a family treatment court, part of the family court, whereby
what does that mean?
There are women and men that have substance abuse problems that lost their children as a result of the substance abuse problem, and we use that court to reunite them. They go to therapy. That we have job training. We have a mental health component to it, housing, and we work with the county agencies to assist them in getting back the way they need to be, so we can return their kids from foster care and get them off public assistance and get them back in the job market to become productive members of our society.
You talk about foster care. This is just a side question. I did 2 shows earlier on 1930s and 40s and 20s on orphan asylums, orphan homes in New York City. Now all you hear are foster care homes.
Right.
Are there any orphan asylums, institutions that exist today? Or that's defunct?
I'm not
very
familiar with what I do know is that here in Nassau County, we have certified foster homes that are certified by the Department of Social Services. There's a process they go through.
Right.
And there's also a number of group homes that we have also that have certain state certification. But we have facilities where we place children, but not because they're in foster care. We place them because they're juvenile delinquents, they're pens. Those facilities still exist, but I'm not aware of any institution. No.
Like it would be a dormitory.
No,
and the kid.
no.
Okay, those days are gone.
Those days they should be gone.
They should be gone.
Yeah, because the foster homes, many times those foster homes are therapeutic foster homes, and they allow for visitation with families. And what our goal is now under the new permanency law, we try to place a child with a family member or somebody that with a significant tie, and we really go, not us, but the department really goes out of their way to try to find that connection, or an adult with significant ties, maybe a mentor, a family member, because we really want to get those kids out of foster care. It's in everyone's best interest not to have those children linger in foster care.
Interesting. What's your biggest challenge that you feel faces the Nassau County Family Court today?
The building.
The facility.
Facilities, yes. It was originally built for 2 judges, and we currently have 8 judges.
2 judges?
Yes, we currently have 8 judges. We've had as much as 9 judges, as many as 9 judges. And so when you look at when it was built for, back then it was called the Children's Court.
When was it built?
1962, 1961.
Oh, God.
So we've kind of outgrown our needs, and I indicated earlier about over 25,000 filings a year. And the bulk of those filings are actually child support cases. So you look at the number of magistrates, number of referees, number of judges, number of employees. We've definitely outgrown the space. You know, if you ever take a tour of the family court, you see what we've done. We've taken hallways, made offices out of them. We've chopped up courtrooms. We made some of them smaller just to get the space that we need in order to do what we need to do in the court. But I'm confident that in the next few years we should have a new family court building.
This reminds me of an old-fashioned hospital, you know, that was built, say, 80 years ago or 90 years ago. They didn't dream of, you know, MRIs, CAT scans, and the like. And today's hospital is vastly different, but it's like taking one of these old hospitals and Rube Goldberging it, you know, just trying to make a round peg fit in a square hole or vice versa. And that's what you're going through.
That's what we're going through. In all fairness, and what's happened, the people who I report to have gone out of their way to alleviate the problems wherever they could by building new things, but you know, by making space constraints. But it's still it's an ongoing battle with the space, and it will be until we get a new building. There've been a number of meetings that my supervisor has gone to and has been very instrumental in trying to get a new family court building, working along with the county officials to make that a reality for our litigants and our residents and taxpayers of the County of Nassau.
What are the most difficult problems facing the families today?
I would probably say some of these other issues that we've never identified before.
Like?
Bipolarness, the mental health issues.
Wow, the mental health issues. Wow.
Many times people lost their children, and we just thought they were not being a good parent. But there were certain underlying mental health issues that were never identified. And so by providing these vital services, such as mental health, and also the other part is working with them once we identify, giving them the services they need in order to do the medication and the service they need in order to help them become good parents and productive parents.
It's interesting. What other kind of professional activities are you involved in that could benefit your role?
I'm involved in the Bar Association in the We Care Fund.
I don't know what that means.
The We Care is a charitable arm of the Bar Association geared towards helping children. We have a Girl Scout troop on Terrace Avenue. Anything that we give scholarships out to deserving and needy students in school districts throughout the whole county. And it's something that I'm very proud of the Bar Association does. Also, I'm involved in my church and my community through various organizations.
You know, I must tell you something. I mean, I've spoken with you briefly previously, and I really appreciated you coming down. The one thing that I've got out of this conversation with us today, we got about 2 minutes left, and that is that I see you're a very caring individual. When an individual thinks of the word judge, you know, they got the robes, and you think of someone with the glasses and the nose looking down and saying, you know, off with his head, you know. But I'm getting such a total opposite view from the feelings that I'm getting from you, plus what you're saying about the court system and how the court system has compassion, it has understanding, and it's opening its eyes up to 21st century needs.
Yes.
And also, I mean, you just mentioned earlier, for example, someone who could be bipolar, and in the past you'd say, well, you're being a bad parent.
That's correct.
As opposed to really learning more and more. This is really a wonderful thing to hear. As part of the lay public myself, since I'm not involved in the legal system. That's great. And I'm also happy to hear that someone such as yourself is the supervising judge, where you do have compassion and understanding. And it seems to me that you have a liberal bent in taking time to just listen to people.
Well, I want the court to be an effective court. And also I want to thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to tell the public a little bit more about our court. And I refer to it as our court because I take it very personally, and I enjoy being there. I enjoy what I do there.
Yeah, I can see that. I really feel like you're talking about your family.
Thank you.
That's funny, family court. Yuck, yuck. But really, that's a wonderful thing, because people just look at this as isolated as if a man with a badge would be.
And you never know when you end up there. And so many people think they would never end up in family court. But
no, absolutely true. Can you wind up in family? Well, just a couple more, about a minute. But quickly, can an individual wind up in family court without having a family problem?
Yes. And that depends on your definition of family problem. You can end up, many times you're brought there by the other party.
I got you.
Right.
Okay, so you didn't seek it, it sought you.
Right, exactly.
That's terrific.
We have a website, too, that you can go and learn more about the family court also.
What's it called?
It's the OCA website. Just go to Google and go to Office of Court Administration and do family court.
Say it again. What is it?
OCA, Office of Court Administration.
Office of Court Administration.
If you go to their website, they'll have a listing for family court. I encourage people to do that. To learn a little bit more about our court.
That sounds great. Would you come down again sometime in the future? We could talk some more?
I'd love to.
Judge Carnell Foskey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's very, very, very interesting. I learned a lot.
Thank you.
I learned a lot. And again, I've been saying it today because I've been having some great shows, and you're included in that. And that the best compliment I give you is that I learned something from you today.
Thank you very much.
Learned not only in your administration, but also the feelings behind it, and which I think carries a lot more weight than just being heavy-handed. It's very important. Thank you very much for taking the time to come down. I appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed something. And it doesn't matter if you're in Nassau County or if you're in Suffolk County. I mean, the court's the court. But at least you're learning and you're seeing, well, I guess maybe there are some differences in the court system here. And if you're in the court system, family court, stop by and say hi to Judge Foskey. Anyway, Dr. Pass is saying, as I always do, just like Judge Foskey says, whatever you do it with passion, or what's the use? See you again next time. Thank you very much. It's very, very informative. Very, very.